380 ACP versus 22 mag, and what we have today is some Remington ammunition. I'm going with the Remington HTP in our 380 ACP. It is an 88 grain jacket, a hollow point. That's one of the ammunitions I actually recommend to people because it does really well as far as reliability and the LCP. It's one of the few rounds that would run and not malfunction. And if you've seen a lot of my videos with the LCP, a lot of ammo malfunctions in it, but the shape of the nose of that 380, it does really, really well. Now, with our 22 mag, it happens to be kind of like a ballistic tip type thing going on, but behind that is basically a jacket, a hollow point bullet. So when I do these tests, I like to use the same brand, even if they're not perfect comparisons, because, you know, if you can imagine, like if I took like a 9mm HST plus P and I compared it to PMC Bronze 40 and then I had better performance with the 9mm, yeah, people would be like, what are you doing? But with this, I'm using the same brand, just kind of using basic ammo that I can find for about $20 a box with Remington ammunition to see what we get. Now, with our HTP in the past, I've got 865 feet per second through the LCP, averaging several different tests I did with it, and it is rated at 990 feet per second, so that is quite a bit off. So today I'm going to use my M&P Shield EZ. Has almost an extra inch over the LCP, so we'll see if we get close to that 990. Now our 22 mag, this is a 30 grain and it is rated at 2,000 feet per second, but that's through a rifle. Interesting stuff here. I have my phone out here and it says, looking for a rimfire cartridge with center fire attitude, Remington's got you covered, and it has a whole list of stuff down here, and it says, upgrading your rimfire rifle or handgun is easy as shooting the right ammo. Think Premier Rimfire. So they're pretty much saying that even in a handgun, you're going to get kind of center fire performance. So I'm a little skeptical of that, but we'll go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time with these. And I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test. So I'm just going to go into plain clear ballistics. That'll be our best potential to see how, you know, how these bullets were designed. You know, no issues in the way of clogging hollow points, and we'll see how they perform. Then I'll do more of a real world simulation. We have 4 layers of denim on the front of this after 3 inches that represents our pectoral muscle. I have a 1/4 inch medium density fiber board to represent hitting ribs or sternum. By the way, clear ballistics is a half representation. That's why, you know, 18 inches is our max, because that's kind of like 9 inches in a human. I sometimes get a lot of people saying, well, 3 inches is too much. Well, that's more like 1.5 inches of actual human tissue. So we're going to see how those compare. Then I'm going to shoot up my steel to see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up, we have our 380 ACP rated at 990 feet per second. The average I got through my 2.75 inch LCP was 865. So feeds good on the first round. Let's see what we actually get here, how close we get to 990. 946, 943. No read. 963, 994. I'll take that. A little bit inconsistent there, but definitely an increase over that 380 LCP's 865. A lot more. And that's one of those things with this particular gun versus an LCP. Most of the cartridges don't gain velocity, but some of them, it's like they have a different type of powder, and the way they're loaded, they will gain a lot of velocity and more barrel, and that's one of them that definitely did. So 22 mag, this is rated at 2,000 feet per second through a rifle. Let's see what we actually get here. I don't think that was a read. 1342. 1393. 1382. So you can see there we had some inconsistent reads where we're not getting a read because there was a lot of flash going on. But that's okay velocity. Not as good as I want to see for a 33 grain, but let's hit our ballistics gel block and see how they compare anyway. All right, let's do our best potential shot. Plain clear ballistics, nothing in the way that can clog a hollow point. These are going to perform. They're going to perform like this in plain gel. So 380 ACP. All right, let me hit that here with our 22 Magnum. Let's go take a look. So yeah, we have some definitely interesting results. I don't think we got bullet expansion on that 380 because it wouldn't have went that deep if we had, but we have actually a lot of damage. And I've said this before, I've seen this phenomenon a lot where non-expanding hollow points can still do a pretty good job, because it's like the way that they go in flat and they put a lot of air in there, and they just hit and they do a lot of damage, but they are going to over penetrate a lot of times. But what we have here is about 23 inches of penetration, so that's definitely over penetration. With our 22 mag here, we did not get any hollow point expansion beyond that flex tip thing there, but we can definitely see we have a lot of tumbling going on. So we have a penetration that's pretty ideal of about 13 inches. Now we might see a little bit too much under penetration once we put our MDF in there, but let's find out and see how it does. All right, 4 layers of denim and then a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard after that. This is a hard test for most pistol rounds to defeat, but let's see what we get here. 380 ACP. All right, 22 Magnum. Let's take a look. All right, so yeah, it does look like we got a little bit of subpar penetration with our 22 mag, like I kind of thought. Here's our MDF here, and we can see here, this is something that I thought would probably happen, is we are starting to get tumbling in that first 3 inches. That's why we see so much damage in the plain gel shot. But when we go through sideways, going through a bone simulation here, it limits that penetration. It can still cause a lot of damage, but it limits it. As we're, you know, 380 ACP, 88 green, this is where, you know, when you go into low power cartridges, even though it's low powered, it has more momentum because there's more mass there, so it's going to keep going in a straight line a little bit better. So what we have is still over penetration and no expansion, but we have about 21 inches of penetration, which isn't that bad. When I look at both of these, that isn't that bad. It's only when I start getting up around here as I start questioning if that's really over penetration, like in the real world. After passing through somebody, it would probably have enough steam to keep going really far. But when you see stuff like this, I question whether it actually would pass through somebody. If it did, I don't think there would be enough velocity on the other side for it to really cause a lot of damage to somebody else. But what we see with our 22 mag is a little bit under penetration. We have right there at 11 inches. So overall, I'm going to say the 22 mag's not bad, but if I had to carry one of these, I'd definitely be carrying the 380 ACP. So let me shoot up my steel, see what kind of practical accuracy I get with these. All right, so here's our projectiles pulled from the gel. Here is our 380 ACP through plain gel, no hollow point expansion whatsoever. Now here is our 22 mag, and you can see there's a hollow point there, but no expansion whatsoever. With our 380 ACP, same thing, but we have clogged hollow point with denim. And with our 22 mag, we have, doesn't really look like there's much in the way of clogging. There's a little bit, but once it hit the MDF, it bent, and then it really started to tumble and decrease its overall penetration. So when you look at my ballistic tests, they're a little bit different than some people's in the fact that I'm not going to hyper focus on this, what we see in this, because oftentimes what you'll see is you'll see a round and somebody will test something and they won't even show the gun, they won't show anything, they'll show how great it did in this gel. But then what they're not telling you is every third shot it jams because it has too much power to get that performance. Therefore, it's not running in your pistol reliably, or it's not accurate, or any number of things. So I like to take a really step back and really take an overview of what I saw here. And what I saw is, even though I did not get expansion, I didn't get extreme over penetration. I got reliability, I got very good shootability and decent accuracy at reasonable ranges. So I'm going to say overall, this is kind of a win-win in a way, because you're taking something that has design like this that's going to feed as reliably as ball ammo, but you're going to have that hollow point, which does more damage than a ball round. What a ball round will typically do is, you see they're kind of short, it'll start tumbling. And that tumbling with something this short isn't really any wider long-wise than it is width-wise. So it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It just does some unpredictable things and over-penetrates a little bit more than what you want. With something like a hollow point here, it keeps it moving straight, and even though it's not expanding, for whatever reason, it does slow down without extreme over-penetration. It's just moving in a straight line. It's like the tip is kind of flat. That provides enough resistance. So to me, when I see stuff like this, I'm seeing the reliability of ball ammo, target ammo, but I'm seeing something that's going to perform a little bit better. And to me, having, you know, multiple shots that are going to actually fire but not do as good is better than having one or two shots and then it jams with something that performs amazing. Now with our 22 mag, this is pretty much average. Nothing really that we saw here that was that great. So that's a close-up of those bullets. All right, 12 yards from the target. Let's see how this 22 mag does for me. Case ejection's fine. Reloading's pretty good with this round also. So that's pretty good. It does look like I missed a few. There's a big amount of flash with that. Now, 380 ACP, this is where some people might say, you know, they would go with the 22 mag because 380 is too much felt recoil. But let's see what I can do with this. So the only real difference there is muzzle jump. Just a little bit of muzzle jump. As where with the 22 mag, there's really no muzzle jump. That's really the only difference there. So let me back it up just a little bit. All right, I'm at my 25-yard marker. See if I can make any hits with this. Just a few rounds here. Let me aim for a headshot, see what happens. So decent ammo as far as reliability and shootability. 22 mag, let me do the same thing here. Aim for a headshot. Go for another one. Alright, so these are definitely shooting to the right for me. And my sights look fine. They don't look like they've been messed with or anything. So let me back it up a little bit more. All right, 75 yards from the target. I always find this kind of fun. Gives me an idea of the ammo overall, just how it shoots. So 380 CP. See if I can make any hits. Don't know where that went. Let me aim a little bit high. I can't really tell where they're hitting, but let me aim high. All right, so I didn't do particularly well with that. Couldn't really tell where they're hitting. Normally I can kind of tell, but with that I can't. So 22 mag, let me fire one single action, see if I can tell where these are hitting. A lot of mosquitoes out here today. Aim off the target to the right. Alright, I don't really see much in the way of impacts. It almost looks like I'm hitting really far. Actually, I meant to say I need to aim off the target to the left because they're hitting right. So I aimed off the target to the left, you know, a good foot. So from what I can tell, it looks like they're hitting to the right really far still. So let me aim off the target to the left, maybe 3 feet. A little high. So let me aim 2 feet to the left and 1.5 feet low. So I'm not 100% sure where those were hitting. That's one of those things, you know, you start losing a lot of steam with rounds like that over distance. Case ejection is a little bit sticky, but they're not really stuck. They came out pretty well. So overall here, what I can say is, this is, as far as their company goes, how they claim it to be, is that this is really good 22 mag ammo, and it'll supercharge your handgun to be like centerfire, and that's definitely hype, because I'm not seeing anything here that's that good. But when I look at the 380 ACP, this is not particularly good 380 ACP ammo. We didn't really get much expansion, if any. And yeah, it didn't really over penetrate, and it still, even in this pistol, continues to be very powerful and very reliable. So I would still consider that a good choice, because if I'm going to pick penetration or expansion, which one do I want to take and give up the other, it's definitely going to be penetration. And if I can get something that's going to penetrate well, but not over penetrate to an extreme level, I'm going to take that. And if I have something that's going to have less recoil and still do all of that, I'm going to take that. So I'm going to say the Remington HTP is still not bad ammo. It's pretty good. You're not going to see those fantastic flowerings you're going to see with HST or Gold Dot, and you're not going to see, you know, big old things that Extreme Defenders are going to do. But overall, it did pretty well. I would carry it because I feel like its shootability is there, and that's really important. You know, it has high velocity for the amount of powder and recoil and all of that. So in that regard, it did really well. Now, as far as the 22 mag does, you know, it's not bad. I would pick this over some ammo because I think we're going to get adequate penetration most of the time with the front on shot. It's definitely not going to be very good for going through side shots and being adequate and all of that. And we're not getting expansion, but we're getting just about enough penetration with some tumbling. And I think the right impact with one of those would do quite well overall. But they had a lot of flash, so I would probably say it's probably not the best handgun round, but it would work. So that's what you get today with our Remington ammo. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.